Neema, are you there? Hello, Neema. Are you there? We almost missed it. We almost missed it, man. It's funny. We're over on the Worm Island private fiend channel talking about sonic boom. So sonic booms. You ever had a sonic boom? Boom.
Not that I can recall. I mean, I remember hearing booms when I was a kid and seeing planes, but I don't know if they were sonic booms or just loud airplanes.
Well, basically, it's when a plane goes supersonic, you know, above the speed of sound, which passenger planes don't, except the Concorde, which it doesn't exist anymore because people complain about sonic booms. But it leaves this traveling.
Then it only flew from New York to London anyway.
No,
right?
It went from like Dubai to Rio too. It was all the rich cities to the rich cities.
Okay.
But yeah, sonic booms, like, you know, military jets that travel faster than the speed of sound. Generally, like they don't fly over populated areas as a general rule, going above the speed of sound. They go out like over the ocean or over the desert or something. But
except for, of course, Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City, yeah. So I've had one sonic boom in my life. It's like DJ and I were out in the desert, or not in the desert, in the woods in Southern California on a picnic, and we like really mellow, like we're watching deer in the woods, and there's this fucking explosion. It sounded like a fucking bomb. I mean, a friggin' bomb going off, like, you know, 100 yards away or something. I mean, it shook the earth. Ugh. And I was like, "What is that?" And she, who grew up in Southern California, said, "Oh, that's a sonic boom. The space shuttle's returning today." You know, like, and yeah, so they did this thing in 1964, the year I was born. The U.S. government did the Oklahoma City sonic boom test, where they had 8 of those a day for 6 months over one city.
God. Yeah, that'd be awful.
I know. There was a class action suit, which the government lost on appeal in 1969, 5 years later.
When I first found out about it, I was thinking, you know, why is that? Like, why would they not be complaining about it? And I guess one of the reasons was Oklahoma City already was so heavily involved. You know, a lot of their money in their economy came from the federal government. Like, they had an Air Force base and whatnot. So they were pre-bribed. So it was a convenient situation for government officials there. So
let's see. What can we do to piss off the central scrutinizer with that list of words we're not supposed to say? We've already said Oklahoma City and fucking bomb going off. I think we're going to talk about Al-Qaeda, and we're joking about that too. You sent me something. What did it say?
Oh, this is great. Yeah. I wouldn't call it Al-Qaeda, but Al-Shabaab, which is the new "you should be very afraid" thing in Africa, in Somalia. I guess the American government had put out bounties on them. So now Al-Shabaab official has offered 10 camels as a bounty for Obama. And Hillary is worth a bunch of chickens, 10 roosters and 10 hens.
Well, you know what they say. If you want a libertarian paradise, move to Somalia. I guess that's where the free market exists.
I guess. Yeah, and into the free market, Obama is worth 10 camels and Hillary worth 10 chickens and 10 roosters.
We don't like bounties.
I don't even think I would not give up 10 camels for Obama.
We don't think bounties are a good idea, but as bounties go, this one's pretty funny. It's pretty medieval. Hey, 10 camels for your president.
I just thought it was hilarious, the fact that, you know, one criminal gang is calling out another criminal gang for what they really are.
Well, what was it?
I mean, they don't have any illusions that the America is some moral force for good or global force for good, as the Navy says.
I know. It's like they're both kind of going down to the level of, what were the two armies that were like tweeting beef at each other?
Somalia. I think that was Somalia and Ethiopia.
Tweeting beef at each other. Like, they finally get on the internet and they're like, "I will tweet your beef."
Must tweet the beef. Yeah, but he calls him whereabouts of the infidel Obama and the lady of Bill Clinton.
Well, what did Saddam Hussein used to call George W. Bush? He called him the criminal junior Bush.
Which is funny because that's probably what I've called him before.
Yeah, well, he dealt with his father too, so.
Yeah.
You know, I hate it when someone. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to go off in a completely different direction.
Well, okay, we can go there in a minute. I just want to say, you know, just like these Al-Shabaab guys are basically calling them criminals and Saddam Hussein called the Bush criminals, they're criminals themselves. But what everybody should understand is, as Murray Rothbard said, if you think of the government as a gang of thieves writ large, it all makes sense. And that's a fiend thing too. Just think of them as nothing more than a group, a gang, basically. They got their little American flag instead of their little red flag out of their back pocket. And all they want to do is grab territory and steal your cash.
Someone just said that they have the Freedom Fiends call-in line on speed dial now.
Speed dial.
And it's not one of our regular callers.
Do they have a Fiend phone?
Fiend phone. They decorated it. So, Rex 84. What's Rex 84?
Rex 84. Readiness Exercise 1984. Doesn't that sound scary? It was Ollie North's plan, or I guess he was involved in it some way, to basically round people up in case of a quote-unquote national security emergency and basically detain people. Sort of the back-in-the-day version of the NDAA.
Basically, no, like more like the back in the day of the FEMA camp idea, but this was definitely real, and the FEMA camp thing, we don't know. And it was basically if too many people protested the war.
Well,
the wars.
War?
The wars. The wars.
Well, it was the 80s, so you're just talking about like the
Contra.
The Central America funding right-wing armies.
The treason that Ollie North won a medal for, yeah.
Well, because they didn't really have open wars back then. I mean, there was no like Iraq war or anything like that. It was all these small engagements.
It was wars by proxy too. There's a lot of proxy wars where, we didn't put boots on the ground, but we funded and armed both sides or one side.
I suppose he could have also been targeting Cold War dissidents, people who didn't hate the Soviets as much as they wanted them to.
Well, red baiting, which is accusing someone of being a communist, kind of lost its power when the Soviet Union fell, which, it used to be a common thing. You red bait people, although it's kind of come back, but it's kind of accurate now. I think calling Obama a socialist, but we also call Romney a socialist because he is. So.
Yeah. They're both the same thing. They're Romney or whatever.
Oh, Romney.
Whatever other combination you want to call them.
Yeah. So Rex 84 came up in the Iran-Contra hearings, and the questioning on it was shut down. Like, we can't ask Oliver North about this by Senator Daniel Inouye, or Inouye, Inouye. He's the president pro tempore of the United States Senate, however you say that, which is the number 2 of the Senate. The vice president is technically the number 1 of the Senate. He's the vote breaker. But Daniel Inouye from Hawaii, who's somewhere to the left of Nancy Pelosi in his politics. His son used to play in a punk rock band called Marginal Man that I used to see in D.C. They were pretty raging.
Good name for a band.
Yeah. Yep.
Marginal
Especially, one composed entirely of people who are not the majority race. Well, that's a minority too, but they were all Asian. Yeah.
I see.
But I guess Marginal Man is a term, sociological term.
Yeah.
Let's look it up.
But yeah, I think I remember seeing that on YouTube. Like, the senators were sort of grilling him, and he was like, well, I can't really get into that because it's a national security thing. So, again, government using this veil of secrecy, which I don't see how people buy it, because if you are a statist, I mean, shouldn't you believe that these government officials are supposed to be transparent? They're supposed to be your employees, right? That's what this quote-unquote social contract is. But
most people who are statist buy the lie of well, there's secrets, like every statist is furious and wants the head of Bradley Manning on a pike, because he broke that rule.
Yeah.
He gave away the secrets.
Seems like it's morally inconsistent, but I guess if you're a morally inconsistent person, you're more likely to be a statist.
I was looking at this band called Sweetwater, which was the first band that played at Woodstock back in the 60s. Like, they were the opening band, like when there weren't that many people there and everyone forgot them. They're this really hippie band. I listened to them on YouTube today. They're really political and horrible, and they're like, the politicians need to do more to help the children of the schools, but it was like, there was a Where Are They Now, and it said like the bass player is now a film statist, and I tried to look up film statist. I think it must be a typo, because he's the only film statist there's ever been, according to Google.
A film statist. Maybe it's somebody who makes statist films.
Makes those DVDs I've been watching, which I want to talk about when we come back.
It's Coney 2012.
No, those anti-drug
school.
Plenty
more Fiends. Yeah, we got that. I've got some stuff about the NDAA and recent court rulings, so stay with the Fiends. Hi, I'm Neema Vedadi from the FEENS Podcast, and I'm excited about
Are you excited, Neema?
I dig the taste.
I have 2 Vaporsmiths in my hand right now.
Hi, I'm Neema Vedadi from the FEENS Podcast, and I'm excited about Vaporsmith's electronic cigarettes. I dig the taste, and I dig the freedom to vape anywhere the nanny staters would wet their pants if I smoked.
Vaporsmiths.com is run by a liberty liberty-loving entrepreneur, not some subsidized tax eater conglomerate.
I'm Michael Dean of the Freedom Fiends, and I love Vaporsmiths. I smoked 3 packs of tobacco cigarettes a day for decades, but now I'm only using Vaporsmiths. I love the flavors, I don't smell like smoke, and I save money, so I have more to spend on ammo and treats for my kitties.
Available in 4 strengths and 10 delicious flavors. Reds, classics, Turkish, menthol, strawberry, cherry, vanilla, coffee, minty mint, and cloves. Go to vaporsmiths.com. Use coupon code FREEDOMFIEND to get 25% off your order. This is a limited time offer. Vaporsmiths at vaporsmiths.com.
What is that? That's the Freedom Fiends.
Yeah, so
Give us a call.
what were you telling me during the break there? You violated the Feds Act or something. The Patriot Act.
My bank sent me a letter saying that you're in violation of Federal Reserve Regulation D because you have used your savings account too many times this month. So you must not use your savings account any more times this month. And if you use it the same amount you've been using it this month for 2 more months out of a year, we can close your account and send your money back to you.
That's even stupider than like 10-round mag restrictions.
Yeah, well, I read it and I was like, Federal Reserve.
What is that gonna? What is that?
Now this is personal.
What does that stop?
See, I guess it's because technically my savings account earns interest.
This is the Central Scrutinizer. You have to stop this transmission. You have said bad things about the Federal Reserve. We are terminating the Freedom Fiends transmission.
No, you can't do that. This is my server. It's not even my server. It's Ian's server.
We're taking it. We're taking it.
No, you can't have it.
Yes, this is the Central Scrutinizer.
All right, try.
Damn, what the hell was that?
I don't know, man. It's some Central Scrutinizer or something.
We're going to have to switch over to carrier pigeons or something, man. So I watched, speaking
I hate
of
that, man. I hate it when the government sends me something saying I can't do something.
Speaking of film, speaking of film statists, last week I got that Educational Archives DVD set from Netflix about, drug propaganda films from the 60s made for schools by the state. I watched the other one recently that was, it was about patriotism, and it was really bizarre, man. It was all sorts of things from like, well, now you've joined the army, here's how you prepare for it, to like sonic booms, why you should like them, to, from the 50s and 60s to like, there was this one really weird psychedelic thing that was made, in anticipation of the bicentennial, and it was paid for by the government. It was this really psychedelic cartoon with no speaking and just groovy music and all these images, like psychedelicized, like apple pies and hot dogs and baseball. And then it had like, and flags, but they had all these like Masonic symbols hidden in it. I think it was something that like someone who doesn't take drugs would spend a lot of money making to try to convince acid heads to be patriotic. And
it doesn't work that way. Psychedelics do not work that way.
The really weird thing is, though, all of these were uber patriotic and laughable and statist and propaganda-y, but there were 2 of them that were like Ron Paul constitutionalism. And I'm like, they would never show that in school again, man. And like one of them was like, it was made by Encyclopedia Britannica Films, and it was about how to recognize, they didn't say tyrants, they said despotism. And they had this ruler, this yardstick for different criteria. And it was like, showing this now would probably violate the Patriot Act if you showed it in school. It was basically like, if all of the media outlets, radio and TV, are concentrated in just a few hands, that's a sign of despotism. If teachers in schools will not accept people asking questions, that's a sign of despotism.
It is. They weren't wrong.
And then there was another one that was like, if you're ever arrested, know the Bill of Rights, know to ask for an attorney. Do not speak to the people who've arrested you. I'm serious. This was made for kids.
That's
awesome. It was about like teaching the Bill of Rights and why it's valuable, but it basically said flex your rights, which was pretty bizarre.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Who made it? Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh. See, I wonder though if maybe that was one of the rejects. Like maybe you had to submit for this government program, and then they actually distributed to schools the ones that.
No, these were all things that were shown in schools, and that was from the late 50s. Really, what happened is the 60s happened, and there were all these college students taking acid and like showing their boobs in the street and wearing flags as pants. And it freaked people out so bad that the state went into like full on, you know, kind of the beginning of the Patriot Act, like kind of like, well, we don't want to teach them their rights anymore. We don't even want them to have rights. We have to produce all this anti-right propaganda, you know?
Yeah. Well, it seems like throughout history in America, there's always been sort of an ebb and flow. I mean, like we've talked about before, right after the Constitution, right before the Constitution, there was the Articles of Confederation, which was pretty libertarian. Then you had the Constitution, which was actually more statist. Then you had the Whiskey Rebellion. You had the Alien and Sedition Acts. And so there's always been these sort of crackdowns on free speech and freedom. And then the government will sort of back off for a little bit. I feel like, I don't know if we're going to go back to at least the state backing off at this point. I feel like the state is full balls, pedal to the metal, balls to the wall, at least for, I mean, because we've had the Patriot Act for 10 years. It still exists. They aren't letting off on the war of terror. They're not stopping. They're increasing their stuff, like with this whole NDAA thing. And did you see that a judge actually declared it unconstitutional? But the Obama administration responded to her and told her that she needs to reconsider her ruling. And then they said, if we do interpret this, we'll interpret it as only the plaintiffs will be exempt from indefinite detention. So the plaintiffs are like Noam Chomsky and Daniel Ellsberg. So those guys are safe. So maybe we should all sue the Obama administration so that we can be exempt.
God. Speaking of statists, yeah, Obama became a constitutional attorney so he could figure out how to rearrange the Constitution, I think. So I was watching the mother of all statist victim unit squad stories on Netflix the other day, Dragnet. You ever seen that show?
No, but I remember like the theme music when I was a kid.
Dun, 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 dun. I think a lot of hip hops have sampled that. So did Dead Kennedys. They played that riff in some song. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Yeah, it was created by Jack Webb, who also stars in it as one of the two cops. And they did it as a radio show in the 40s and then a TV show in the 50s. And then it wasn't on for a while. Then it started up again in 67 in color. And it was like, you know, they were busting hippies who were flipping out on acid. Wow. It's so statist, and it's got so many like speeches for, you know, cops need more money. Teachers need more money. You should pay your taxes. So, and it's interesting because it seems like uber patriotic, but I watched about 10 episodes of it, and it's like, there's no mention of America. It's like patriotic for Los Angeles. Seriously. It's like every episode begins with this little thing of like how beautiful Los Angeles is, except for the criminals. And I, Jack Webb, keep them down. You know, that looks like it was produced by the Chamber of Commerce of Los Angeles, like the first opening scenes of every one. Wow. It's weird. And actually Jack Webb narrated one of those statist patriot, school videos that I saw.
Statist films.
Yeah. It looked like it was supposed to be like the Twilight Zone. It's like, this is a town that looks like America, but it's not, you know, and he's standing in the town. It's a town in Russia that's a recreation of American town where people from the Russian government go to learn the ways of America. So when they invade, they'll know what to do. That was a theory in the Cold War that town existed.
Huh. Did it exist? Did anybody ever figure that out?
I don't know, but I'm sure, you know, here people studied the way of Russians.
Yeah, they sure did.
You know, in the government.
Russians.
Yeah.
Freaking status, man. Well, you know what?
This is the Central Scrutinizer. Do not make fun of statists. Statists are good for you.
That's like our whole show, man.
We keep getting. I know. It would just be 2 minutes of talking about cats and audio gear if we took the statism out, the anti-statism out.
Yeah, I don't mind that. All right, well, maybe we'll talk about cats and audio gear coming up here soon on the Freedom Fiends. I'm going to go have a meeting with the Central Scrutinizer and tell him that I plan on ignoring him because
all right.
He's a douche.
Worms.
Put out for us in public.
Yeah. How far back of my stuff do you know? Are you a San Francisco guy?
No, I'm the Eastern Oregon guy. I live out about 200 miles due east of Portland. I'm out in the desert.
You're not that far from Neema, but he's leaving.
Yeah, that's near where I live for the next week or so. I'm in the Tri-Cities, just in Pasco.
Well, I'm in Umatilla, bud.
Yeah, that's pretty close. It's like half an hour away, I think.
What's on your mind today, Kevin?
Well, it's Sunday. It's a beautiful CAVU day here. The wind's not blowing. No cops in sight.
What's CAVU?
Clear air, visibility unlimited.
Nice. You a pilot or something?
Used to be.
Drone pilot?
Okay.
Drone pilot?
Yeah.
No.
Well, no. Unfortunately, diabetes took care of my ticket, and so, oh well.
So what's on your what's making you twitch or smile these days?
Well, I'm a little disappointed with Rand Paul.
Well, what did he do?
He endorsed Romney officially.
That was just the sound of me ripping my clothing. I have no son. With him.
No, it's just
I renounce Rand Paul.
About the situation, so I don't know enough to get pissed. So it's in one ear, out the other.
I don't know.
See, I feel like some people have said that. Like, some people were saying, well, we don't know what the game is. This could be a political strategy. There could be a long play here. They could be getting Romney to agree to some concessions. And that's how I feel, Michael. I feel like if that's what you have to do in order to get what you want to play the game of politics, that's all more the argument for not being involved in politics and not caring about it. Because if you have to compromise your beliefs and endorse somebody like Mitt Romney, then why even play a game like that?
If you're going to be a politician, you should, especially if your last name is Paul and Ron Paul's your dad, you should ask yourself, what would Ron Paul do with everything you do? You know, Ron Paul's made a career on being a philosopher of the example of not conceding on anything, you know?
Yeah.
I think Ron Paul should ground his son.
Well, what I'm really worried about, gentlemen, out of everything, is I am hoping they didn't tell Rand, hey, do what we want you to do, or we're going to put a knife to the old man's back and make sure it sticks.
Literally or figuratively?
Knowing the way the game is run, I would say probably literally. I have a heart attack somewhere, you know.
No. Yeah, I guess that's not beyond the ken in my mind. I mean, I could see them making threats like that to Rand. Although
I don't think so. I mean, not that they wouldn't do it. I think it's more like if you ever want to be anything in the GOP again, which is like a gun to the head of a real politician like Rand Paul.
Oh yeah, it's all about the re-election, guys.
Right, which is unfortunate because I feel like from Rand Paul, I would have expected, well, I guess not lately, because I feel like he's been showing hints of his hand lately. But in my fantasy
or
world,
his handlers.
Or his handlers, yeah, showing his handlers. I feel like he's been leaning in that direction for a while. I mean, he's a regular guest on Hannity. He supported the Iran sanctions. He's always been more about playing the game than his dad. And, you know, I would hope in a perfect world somebody with the Paul last name or somebody who had Ron Paul as a dad would just decide, well, you know, if I have to compromise my morals to play the game, this isn't a game I want to play. But I guess he's proven that false.
Well, that's true, and you know, with that in mind, I guess Michael, you ask, what's poking me right at the moment is I'm seriously considering the debt that our politicians have done for us, but really torques me is how silent we the people have just stayed and not done a damn thing about it. Oh, let's vote them out. Let's do this, and nothing happens.
Yeah, and Fox News and the like really quickly watered down the message of Ron Paul and, made it statist and called it the Tea Party. But, you know, the Tea Party actually is named after something it started, which was a Ron Paul supporter tax day event about 4 or 5 years ago.
You betcha. Taxed enough already.
So I'm sick of talking about statists. What do you do that's fun? What do you like to do? What are you going to do this week?
I am a shooter.
Yay.
I am a part-time gunsmith. I motorcycle. I fix mechanical things, and I'm thinking this afternoon we're going to go out and celebrate John Moses Browning Day.
What's that? Oh, it's his birthday, is it?
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, I don't belong to any conventional church, so people ask me what I do on Sunday, and hey, we're celebrating John Moses Browning.
Wonderful.
And that just happens to be any day that ends in Y.
Don't they all? Wait, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the joke, Michael.
It's like in AA, they say.
Michael had a blonde moment there.
It's like, yeah, I did. I am blonde. Yeah, they said, in AA, they'd say, well, yeah, I drink because I had a bad day, or I drink because I had a good day. I drink because it was Tuesday.
That's it. It ends in Y. Hot damn.
Yep.
Well, gents, I will bail off the phone here and let someone else get on. Pleasure to talk to you.
Cool, man.
All right. Thanks for calling in, man.
Thanks for calling in.
Oh, hey, great. I'm enjoying to listen to these, and I'm trying not to miss them.
Worms.
We appreciate it.
Take care, man.
Yeah, it's funny because
Bye.
I was actually going to bring that up. I know you are so over talking about politics, but I felt like this is a good explanation of that, because when I first heard this whole Rand Paul endorsing Romney thing, that's how I felt. I felt like, man, if I wasn't completely over politics before, I am now. If Rand Paul is going to endorse Mitt Romney, what's the frickin' point? Who cares?
I know. And, there's probably like Libertarian Party people or that kind of people or Cato libertarians who are like, yeah, that's a great thing. I don't know. I don't want to pick on Cato, but, people who say they're libertarian but want to make concessions to work within the system, which to me completely is antithetical to the idea of being a libertarian.
Well, it is. And I don't think there's a future of, freedom in politics, even whether it's libertarian or this whole take back the GOP thing. I mean, you heard about Gary Johnson's interview on the Bob Wenzel show, right?
Hey, someone said they can barely hear Neema. Your brother just typed that.
Huh. My mic should be loud enough. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Is that tired of the false economy? Want to carry real money in a form that people will dig getting? Don't Tread on Meme now has Freedom Fiends and Guns and Weed silver dime cards. Collect all 4. Trade them with your friends. Freedom Fiends silver dime cards are also great for starting conversations with statists about liberty. Go to freedomfiends.com today and click the link at the top that says Silver Dime Cards. That's freedomfiends.com.
Have you been looking for a safe, scenic, and inspiring place to live free? We chose Wyoming. Wyoming is the home of Free State Wyoming and the personal choice of Boston Tea Party, as well as the setting of his book, Moulin l'Abbé. Bring the family and stop by for the 2012 Free State Wyoming Jamboree for 4 days of camping, shooting, and barbecue. There'll be trading, hiking, a raffle, and plenty of activities for the kids. Admission is free for those under 18. Entrance and 4 days camping is $15. It's only $15 more for the barbecue and beer on Saturday. Visit freestatewyoming.org. There's even a 1-day handgun course led by Boston. The handgun course is extra. The Jamboree is June 28th through July 1st in the beautiful Black Hills of Wyoming. Join us to explore our favorite area of the country and see if our choice might become your choice. That's freestatewyoming.org. See you there.
Got a little distorted, but yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. I worry that that's clipping, though.
It sounds okay.
That sounds all right. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, somebody let me know on chat in the talk back.
Maybe I need to turn a bit here. Okay, there. All right. I turned down a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, someone said Neema's fine now. Yeah.
Must have been before the break. We did some adjusting
there.
Then.
Okay. I think we're better now. I think you're louder than me now, but that's okay. You can make up for the first half of the show.
All right. Yeah. Sorry, folks. Live radio.
I think you're clipping just a little bit. Just turn down just a little bit. Just a nun's cunt hair. Just turn down that much.
A nun's cunt hairs, I'd imagine, would be pretty long. Don't imagine they groom too much.
There you go.
But we've got more chatting about pubic bones.
Would you like to advertise your product or service to a large built-in audience of liberty-loving
to a large audience that we've completely lost? I tested. There's something wrong with our Skype phone number. Wait, we got something here. You might have to call us on Skype instead of on the Skype number. It's weird. I paid our Skype bill, but maybe it got cut off or something. So Skype us at kittyfeet1 because I just tried calling the number and it said the number is unavailable.
Ugh, that's awful. Yeah, we're full of technical problems today. The reason my mic got so quiet, I had mic checked it. It was real close to my face, but because my mic stand is so old, its gravity was taking its toll, and my mic slowly was falling away from my face the whole show. I didn't even notice. So sorry about that, folks, and sorry about the call-in number 2. But just make Michael one of your Skype contacts, and then you can call us.
Yep.
And it's Kitty Feet 1. Kitty Feet 1. Sorry, folks. It's the central scrutinizer, man. He's harassing us. I gave him a challenge. I said, try to shut us down. And he's trying, man. F that guy. F him in the egg.
You talk for a minute. I'm gonna go on Skype and see what's up.
All right, Michael's testing that out. I did have something I wanted to let y'all know. This is kind of cool. I actually joined Twitter. So I haven't been on Twitter before, so if you want to follow me, you can do that. But the reason I did it is because the Daily Caller is giving a free gun away every week until Election Day. It's FMK 9C1, which I guess is some kind of... They describe it as an American high-capacity 9mm manufactured in California, which is kind of odd. But hey... A free gun is a free gun, so all you have to do is follow them on Twitter. This isn't really a plug for them because, I mean, the Daily Caller is pretty statist, although they do have some good content every now and then. Just cool to have a chance to get a free gun. I mean, who can complain about a free gun? So just follow them and follow me, too. I don't post much on Twitter, but maybe I will eventually. Something I've been looking to get into while Michael is testing all the Skypes and whatnot. Ooh. That sounded weird. What's going on there, Mike?
Oh, Mike. Did you call me Mike?
Michael. Mike get so pissed if you call him Mike. So I was just trying to get your attention, man.
Well, I don't know. We're all paid up. Our Skype number should work. I think Kevin called in with Skype, not the number. I'll ask him, but yeah. I logged out and I'm updating Skype because I ignored it. It wanted to, but I said no.
So it sounds like you're going to have to get on the phone with customer service, unfortunately, and complain about the Skype people. Maybe we are on some central scrutinizer list, and they told Skype to discontinue the number.
I know, man. I know.
Maybe it's in like their clause that it can't be used for a radio show about liberty.
Yep.
I sure hope not.
Yep. Maybe. So, what you got, man?
Well, you had corrected me and said that the Israeli parliament is not Knesset, it's Knesset.
It's actually more like Knesset, but...
Yeah, well, maybe it's disputable, though, because like I went and searched for pronunciations online, and everybody called it Knesset, but the K sound is really quick. It's like Knesset. So I guess if you weren't listening closely, it might sound like Knesset, but I think it's Knesset, but not like in some kind of Hebrew accent, maybe.
Knesset.
Which... Knesset.
So do you know what Mecca is? I learned what Mecca is. I didn't know what or where it is.
Oh, you didn't know what Mecca is? Yeah, it's where the...
Fiend phone.
Okay.
Fiend phone.
Now it's working.
Fiend
I had to update. They were like holding us hostage until I updated. So
that thing you get on when you go on Skype and it asks you to upgrade now or update?
Yeah.
Huh. Bastards.
So y'all can call in now. The 20 people that have called in and I've gotten voicemails for and haven't listened to yet, you can call in now.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Fiends. But yeah, you were asking me what Mecca is. It's where it's one of the 5 pillars of Islam. You have to make a pilgrimage to Mecca at some point in your lifetime.
Well, where is it? It's in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, it's in
which a lot of people don't know.
Western Saudi Arabia.
And it's like one of the reasons Saudi Arabia is so powerful and wealthy in that region is because, they have the best phone. They have the best dope.
Fiend phone. Fiend phone.
Well, you have to go there.
They're holding the bag.
They have monopoly on travel, right?
Yep. Who we got here?
Hey, it's Rico.
Hey, Rico from the Rico Act.
From New Brunswick, Canada.
Yeah, I kept getting emails like, I finally figured it out. We're working, so let's make up for lost time. How you doing, Rico? How'd you find out about the Fiends?
Hey, what's that?
How'd you find out about the Fiends?
Through the Peter Schiff show, actually. Through Stefan Molyneux. He was guest hosting the Peter Schiff show, and then you had him on Anarchy Gumbo.
Yeah. Did he mention? Did we get mentioned on the Peter Schiff show?
No, you did. Unfortunately, it's too politically correct, I think.
Yeah, like we said, like
it is.
Yeah, Stefan. I told Stefan Molyneux the other day that we said that he's the kind of libertarian that you listen to while you're sipping a fine Merlot, and the Freedom Fiends are the kind that you listen to while huffing Jenkum and shooting crocodile. I told him that. Peter Schiff, I'd say the same thing about, Peter Schiff. You'd probably be having some low-cal wine or something. I don't know. We like Peter Schiff.
Peter Schiff is taking over for G. Gordon Liddy. He just got some big show like RBR radio or something. Yeah. So good for him.
Yeah.
Although I hope he doesn't have to censor himself more now that he's going to be more big time. That's what I worry about.
Yeah. Anyway.
So what you calling for, Rico?
Well, just want to talk about, life and liberty and pursuit of happiness and everything. I just got accepted to university in teaching, actually.
Yay!
Hooray! So I'll be part of the teaching industrial complex. And so I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out, and maybe that's a call for all the teachers out there too. How to influence the system, guys. It's
You mean make positive change from inside of the system is kind of your goal?
Yeah, kind of. I guess, kind of.
Well, I would just say you have to have a lot of patience for something like that. My mom was a teacher for decades, and she did really love it. She loved helping the kids out, but eventually she had to quit just because the administration became so tyrannical about what they could teach, what they couldn't teach, to where they would actually have people going in and checking on her classroom multiple times a day to make sure that she was following the official curriculum. So if it's something you want to do, just be warned that I think you're going to have a lot of patience in order if you're trying to affect change from the inside, and it's definitely something that is not going to be easy.
There's a book. Yeah. There's a book that's written from a liberal standpoint that's kind of interesting, though. I'd recommend checking out. It's called "What's Liberal About the Liberal Arts." It's by Michael Barabay. It was kind of a bestseller, I think. I used to play in a band with that guy. He was the drummer in my band Baby Opaque, and I've known him for decades. And he kind of tolerates me, and I kind of tolerate him because we're both friends and really smart people, but we're diametrically opposed in our belief systems. But it's an interesting book.
Okay, cool. It's a good book. Yeah, I'll check it out for sure.
We know 3 or 4 libertarians who are college professors, and it's tough. It's really tough. There's a guy that calls in from Prague who actually showed our movie Guns and Weed: The Road to Freedom to his class and had them write papers on it. And he's going to anonymize and translate a couple of the best ones for us and send them to us to read on the air. I'm very interested in doing that.
Sweet.
I mean, one way that you can sneak in interesting thoughts is probably like portray it as something to criticize. Like, okay, class, today we're going to watch this crazy film called Guns and Weed: The Road to Freedom, and we're going to write what's wrong with it. And then, you can see which students say, I didn't see anything wrong with it. And then, work on them on the side.
Label them as a terrorist.
No, work on them on the side, man. Have them over to parties at your house.
Yeah.
Well, how does it work in Canada? Is there are you going to have to be a part of the teaching industrial complex, as you said it? I mean, are you going to have to work for a government school, or are there, private organizations you could work for?
Yeah, there's a couple of private schools. I've checked them out, but it's all, they get all big subsidies from the government as well if they teach certain stuff, So
they have to follow pretty much the same rules. Yeah, it's all the same.
Yeah, pretty much. But I'll see. I mean, I've graduated from high school 2 years ago, and I've pretty much saved up my money. So college for me this year is at no cost. So yeah, I'll see at the end of the year.
Well, be sure and call us in. Yeah, call us a few months into it and let us know the update.
Oh yeah, sure, guys.
Cool, man. Thanks for coming on.
I'll keep listening.
Take care.
We appreciate it, man.
Yep.
And audience, you should keep listening too. This is the Freedom Fiends.
Yes.
You can just let the music speak for itself, Mike.
This is the Central Scrutinizer.
You get so antsy when the breaks go. The Freedom Fiends live call-in show for the Sunday. You can give us a call at 307-215-5171. But hold up just a little bit. We got a caller here on the line. Lou from Michigan. What's up, Lou?
Nothing much. I wanted to let you know that WikiLeaks just released a new cable, and it turns out that the Central Scrutinizer sent out a posting asking for help because the guys that they got listening to you on the weekends keep going around NSA headquarters yelling, worms. Worms.
Yeah, and worms and on your knees, you dirty hippie.
Yeah, they just can't get them to shut up now.
Yeah, Neema's making a hip-hop song out of a loop of me in Guns and Weed saying, on your knees, you dirty hippie, where I'm playing the cop.
Dirty hippie.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm just waiting on you to play the bass line.
So what do you say about Hemingway? He had a bunch of six-toed cats, and they've bred in Florida, and they're everywhere now. There's Hemingway cats everywhere.
Well, he had a estate down in Key West, from how I understand it.
That's in the movie, yeah.
And he had all these cats. They all had 6 toes each. And from there, they picked up the name Hemingway Cats. I mean, I don't think that they were exclusive to him. I don't think he had a monopoly on them, but... No,
but it's also the Hemingway Museum, which was his home, is the home to approximately 40 to 50 polydactyl six-toed cats. So these are the lineage of Hemingway's cats running around his former home.
That's awesome. Where can I get one? I want one.
I want.
So see, in an IP world, then the government would come and steal everybody's six-toed cats and say they were part of the Hemingway estate.
Or somebody would put a patent on the gene and sell Hemingway cats.
Yeah.
I'd buy a Hemingway cat. I'm looking at one. It's great. It's awesome. I'm looking at this picture. This cat's standing next to a typewriter in Hemingway's bedroom.
So an extra toe on each paw, so it would have a total of 14 toes?
24.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because cats have 4 legs. 4 legs good, 2 legs bad.
This cat's name is Harry Truman, Hairy Truman.
That's hilarious. That's the best name for a cat ever. So, Lou, anything else other than the WikiLeaks cable you were able to decode about the Central Scrutinizer listening to the Fiends?
That's about all that I've seen so far. We gotta figure out what else is going on with that. But it does bring into something that you guys touched on earlier in the cast, and I know that you didn't want to go to statism, but
you always call in with the local Michigan statism, and we're following it. So go, lay it on us.
Okay.
Not go away. Lay it on us.
The local statism is the incumbent congressman for the 11th district. Failed to meet his 1,000 signatures requirement. He came up with 244 valid signatures. He submitted 2,000. He's been using the same crew as volunteers, I guess, for his entire political career in the Congress. But
and a lot of people would hear this and be like, "Well, we need to stop this. This is subverting democracy." And I agree, but it's also like democracy at its core is subverted. Even if you play by the rules and manage to win, you're being unethical.
Well, he's a status rhino douchebag, so we won't miss him. But to get off track for a second, regarding democracy is the idea that the common people know what they want and deserve to get it, good and hard.
Yeah.
H.L. Mencken.
People like voting for the Nazis and listening to Coldplay, to quote Peep Show.
Yeah, but anyway, the local party hacks have determined that they are going to put in a write-in candidate to go up against a guy that actually did do everything right and got all of his signatures. The bigger story, I think, though, is how did this guy only get 244 valid signatures? If it was sabotage and his people, trusted and believed in him, why would they sabotage him?
Ugh, that's true. Well, Cool. Worms. Hemingway Cats. I just sent you one, Neema. Did you see it?
You sent me a literal cat?
I emailed you a picture of a Hemingway cat. It's awesome.
You emailed me a cat? Oh,
yeah.
It's a picture. All right. I guess it's old.
You know, I've been thinking lately awesome. The Fed goons have been going door to door to like people that organize like in the streets kind of marches and stuff, and like sending FBI guys to their door to say, do you know anyone who's planning on doing anything violent? There's some videos of it on YouTube. Like people filmed the reaction to this. And my answer is going to be the only honest answer is going to be the only people I know who are planning on doing anything violent is the United States federal government.
Agreed.
All right, man.
Hey, the state government. Don't leave them out. The state and local governments are planning violent things as well.
We got to go, Lou. We got to open it up for more callers now that we can take callers. There's about 8 of them who tried to call in.
All right, worms, fish, and hogs, bro.
Worms, man. Thanks, brother. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for calling, Lou. Yeah.
Awesome.
Speaking of Fed goons knocking on your door, I heard a great Clash song the other night. I guess a couple times the other night. It was on my Slacker or my wife's Slacker account. Have you ever heard it? It's called Guns of Brixton.
Of course, I've heard Guns of Brixton, man. I heard Guns of Brixton before you were born.
Man, I had never heard it before. It's great. There's a great line where he says, when they kick down your front door, how are you going to come? With your hands in the air or with your fingers on your gun? And I was like, yeah.
Yep.
What's it about, though? Do you have any other insight? Is it like an anti-tyranny song, or is it like a... Because it seemed to me like the concept was...
Like, when I was into the Clash, when they were...
The government's got all the guns, and they're going to screw you up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's basically kind of a police and thieves kind of idea. Let me look and see if I can find it. Yeah.
Are you jamming it now?
Yeah.
Yep. It's so funky, man.
Yeah. They were incredibly funky for 4 white guys from England, pasty white guys from England. Yeah. They were one of the first bands that kind of like brought reggae into rock music. Lyrics and meaning.
Yeah. And then it became like...
It's about the riots in 1980s in Brixton. Discontent, let's see, heavy-handedness of the police that led to the riots, the recession, and other problems at the time. Yeah. A paranoid outlook on life. Yes. That's what it says.
Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not after you.
Yeah. And then there's Narapoya, the feeling that someone out there is trying to do you good.
Huh.
Yeah.
Let's just jam it.
It is jamming.
Right.
If there weren't so many copy Nazis out there, we'd be more of a radio show like that. Yeah. I was like London's burning too.
We should talk about the copy Nazis, but we got like 2 minutes left in this segment. So
let's just play some Clash, man.
just play the Clash. Yeah, keep playing that song, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the IP Nazis.
I love this song, man.
My favorite in college was Rudy Can't Fail. Do you remember that one?
Nah. I'm dancing, man.
Yeah, me too. Bobbing my head. Yeah. Oh, it's mixing with our breaking sync.
Is it? Okay. I'll do a mix.
Yeah. It's not mixing well, but it's there. All right.
Are we out?
We're out.
That's fun.
He can defend it just like if he were defending his house or his car or any other kind of physical property. But
yeah,
intellectual property is not like that, man. You can't control if something can be in somebody else's brain, like the words of your book, you can't control them because somebody else's brain is not your property.
Yeah. Worms.
And intellectual property doesn't have the same kind of physical restraints as physical property. You know, it's infinite. You can copy a sentence 1 billion times at no cost, and you don't take it away from the original writer of the sentence. They still have it.
Yeah, and there's really 2 things that happen when artists scream, "You can't copy my stuff." One of 2 things, or both at the same time. Either everybody who didn't even know who they were before or didn't care starts copying their stuff just to piss them off, or people just ignore them until they go away and no one wants to hear them because they're so square. And you're kind of like, well, those are the opposite. If people are sharing it, no, both can happen. Both happened to Metallica. when they were bitching about it. And the drummer in Metallica is actually in that that Hemingway movie. He plays Hemingway's cameraman in the Warzone stuff. I guess they just needed a, Danish guy or something.
Okay.
And the other guy's from some other Scandinavian country, but
maybe it was a publicity stunt because I still don't even know who J. Neil Schulman is. What has he written?
I know. Sci-fi writer no one cares about. That no one cares about and everyone should copy and then not read his stuff.
Just copy it to piss him off. You can't kill us all, right?
Yeah, I know. And, one of the comments was really good too, was even if you believe in intellectual property as a valid thing, don't you think that death would be a kind of overly severe punishment?
Yeah. Well, I just don't understand where he's coming from. I mean, I guess if he makes a living at it, yay for you. But why should that doesn't give you the right to control the way other people use something that they own. If somebody buys your book, they own it. It's their property at that point. They can do whatever they want with it, right? They could use it to wipe their ass or hand it to their best friend.
I did this little montage DVD extra for the gun training video I'm working on. That's like recommended podcasts, and it's got 7 or 8 of the ones I really like, and LRN, the network that we're on. But I actually wrote to all the people who are on it and said, "This is what I want to use your logo for. Are you cool with this?" Which, legally I wouldn't need to ask them because it's not. It's not implying.
Fiend phone.
Yay.
Fiend phone.
Hang on just a second, caller. It's not implying that they're endorsing me. It's just I'm endorsing them, which really you never need permission for. But all of them wrote back and said, excellent. Yes, thank you. For sure. Absolutely. Hell yeah. Except Ian from Free Talk Live, who said, don't ask for permission. Just do things. I like
Ian
that.
doesn't just talk it. Ian lives it.
I know.
I know.
That. He was like almost like mildly irritated that I asked him permission. Like, no, why? just do it, man. All right. Who's the caller? What do we got here? Fiend phone.
This is Jeremy from Ohio.
Hey, did you call on the phone, Jeremy, or on the Skypes?
The phone. I don't know anything about Skype.
Excellent. It's working. What can we do for you today, sir?
I called about a month ago, and we were talking about Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, and, I've met him. I like him.
Unfortunately, I Googled to find that quote, because I remember hearing it, about how we think he might be a libertarian.
Yeah.
And it said that he attended the big Obama dinner that George Clooney put on. And I was a little disappointed.
Well, he might be doing that for, work reasons.
I figured that, maybe his wife, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it was court ordered.
It was part of his probation.
Possible.
That's funny. He made a movie that I'd never heard of until yesterday. It's called The Last Party. It's a political documentary he made in like 1991 in the depths of his coked out addiction. He made a documentary about politics, and I saw the long trailer for it. It basically looks like Republicans are dumb and Democrats are great.
They're all dumb.
They're all dumb. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, there are only about 4 outed Republicans, self-outed Republicans in Hollywood, and then I don't even know if there are any libertarians. I guess the only libertarians are comedians who don't really,
Penn Jillette, I think.
Yeah, Penn Jillette, Joe Rogan, Doug Stanhope. They're all libertarians, but I don't think you could really not be an outward liberal in Hollywood and work. I mean, who's a Republican? Tom Selleck, the guy that does the Tonight Show with the big chin. What's his name?
Jay Leno.
Oh, Jay Leno.
Yeah, and if anybody's taking us to task for making jokes about, the camel bounty on Obama's head, watch the Tonight Show and the Daily Show tomorrow night. I'll bet both of them will make jokes about it. So there.
I thought it was hilarious when I read that yesterday.
Angelina Jolie's dad is a Republican. What's his name?
John Voight.
Yeah, John Voight. Yeah, I think that's it. There's 3 Republicans in Hollywood, and they're
all statists, though, right? I mean, they're still Republicans.
Yeah,
but
they're terrible.
Yeah,
and I don't. Part of me.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know many go ahead.
I thought of another libertarian in Hollywood, but he's a comedian. But he's kind of more of an A-lister comedian. Is who's the kind of plump guy that had his own show? Drew Carey. Yeah, he's a libertarian. He does stuff for the
Was he
Cato
libertarian?
Institute. Yeah, he does a show for the Cato Institute, doesn't he?
He's like on the pamphlet whenever you go to like a libertarian event and they say famous libertarians. It's like Drew Carey's one of them. But these guys, I mean, it's not like that's what they're famous for. It's not like people know Drew Carey as a libertarian. It's not like people even know Joe Rogan as a libertarian. They know him as the guy who forces college girls to drink donkey piss.
Pretty much.
No, to volunteer to drink donkey piss.
To volunteer, right? He doesn't force them. He offers them money to drink donkey piss.
Yeah, and they do it. And he's still kind of surprised that he can do that. You know, Henry David Thoreau was a libertarian, or is considered an anarchist, too. Did you know that?
Yeah, civil disobedience. I mean, that was a wonderful treatise on not listening to the state, because the state is evil.
Yeah, worms. We'll have more. We'll have more. We'll have more.
You've never listened to
scenic and
Texas.
We are
Give
back.
me a Texas soon.
We are back. We are back
on the air.
on the Freedom Fiends.
You always say it multiple times, so I make sure that I know.
Yeah, because you don't hear it and you keep talking.
I keep talking to our caller. We've got a caller here.
Who's the caller?
What's your name?
Who's the caller, sir?
Hey, yeah, it's Jeff in Dayton, Ohio. How y'all doing?
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, yeah.
Good, man. What's up?
With your talk about intellectual property, you remember years ago when Napster was the big rage?
I remember you, Jeff. Are you the guy that you called in once before and I said, you sound like Jello Biafra? Is that you?
I don't remember that one.
Okay, you sound like Jello Biafra, but go on. I remember Napster. I used Napster. I was Napster.
I loved Napster,
yeah,
man.
well, the thing is, you remember Don Henley of Eagles fame.
Unfortunately.
He preaches socialism, but when it comes to his music, he's no socialist there. And now today, well, of course, we have YouTube, which is, you'll see a video, unless there's a paid ad preceding it, some lawyer will have it taken down, and then wait a couple weeks, somebody will put it right back up. It's sort of like a whack-a-mole game.
Yeah, it is exactly like whack-a-mole. Yeah. And they also do something
I like
funny.
what they're moving towards. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I like the way they're moving it towards, though. What they're doing now is they actually, instead of taking it down, they'll just put ads on it. And then they leave the video up, which I think is great because then, not that I'm for intellectual property, but if they want to do that instead of taking it down, I'd much prefer you to just have
I much
an ad
prefer it. I much prefer it too than some scary lawyer letter that you're going to get thrown in a cage, and taking it down. But there's an interesting byproduct of their Autobot system that puts the ads of the content so-called owner on it is that I have put up videos with my music on it, and then all of a sudden I get it gets ads and says this is owned by Warner Brothers or this is owned by MVD, like people that I've done licensing deals with stuff that I've done. And it's like the Warner Brothers stuff that I've from my band Bomb. The thing is technically Warner Brothers half owns the publishing and my band half owns the publishing. So, but there's nowhere on YouTube to really easily write and say, well, there's, an asterisk on this one, or on MVD where we put up the Guns and Weed video that has some of Neema's music in it, and then all of a sudden the YouTube bot says MVD owns this song by Neema Vedadi called "I Own Me" and puts ads on it.
Yeah, it was so ironic. My video, "I Own Me," I got an email from YouTube saying, "Hey, MVD owns this," and I was like, "No, I own it. I shot it myself. I wrote it myself. I recorded it myself. That's all me, guys."
Yeah.
But at least with the ads, though, that's a free market alternative than suppressing it.
Oh, I'm paying part of my mortgage from YouTube, from those ads. Actually,
good.
I get money from that. Yeah. Yep. So what else, man? What else on your mind?
Well, that was pretty much it.
All right. Do you like the Clash?
I appreciate the call. Do you like the Clash?
I like the music.
Cool. You like the music. They're commies. You don't like the words, huh?
Yeah, that. Well, actually, two of them were communists. The other two, the group broke up because the two non-communists got tired of all the politics.
Because they just wanted to. They just wanted to rock. So what? The two singers. What was it? The commies were Joe Strummer and who was it?
I forget the name.
Yeah, but it was the two singers, right?
Wait, there's two singers in the Clash?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, Mick Jones and Joe Strummer. Yeah, so I'm sure it was Paul Simonon and Topper Headon who didn't Topper Headon, the hedonist heroin addict drummer. I heard they partially broke up because of his drug use too. Like everywhere they played, like he owed drug dealers tons of money and they'd come looking to kill the band.
Oops. Yeah, that
Nice.
wouldn't do you good.
Moral of the story is pay your drug dealers. And drug dealers, get the money up front.
Yeah. Although rock stars can get credit. I have a friend in San Francisco who said one night after Nick Cave played in San Francisco, like at 3 a.m, this taxi pulls up in front of his house. Nick Cave knocks on his door, and my friend who lived with a heroin, guy who sold a little heroin on the side, opened up the door and he said, "I'm Nick Cave. Give me some heroin." And they gave him some heroin and he left.
They just gave him some heroin.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Nick Cave. Give me some heroin.
And that's all she wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for calling, man.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Worms.
You too.
Have I mentioned on the cast that I once scored heroin for Perry Farrell from James Addiction?
Maybe. I don't know. I was too strung out on Crocodile to remember.
Apparently that was not an uncommon thing to happen, because I was bragging to a friend of mine about that one time, and he said, "Did he bring his gun?" And I said, "Not that I know of." And he said, "He did when I sold him heroin."
Yeah. See, why can't rock stars just go get it at Walmart like we all should be able to?
Then they wouldn't have to go to strangers' houses toting guns. Yeah, Perry.
I know, right?
And Perry has, he must not have a very big gun. He has that song Packin' 25. It's about carrying a 25. I remember, I didn't know anything about guns, and I asked my friend Steve about that. I said, "Is a 25 a gun?" And he said, "Yes, Michael, a very small gun."
A very small gun.
I know.
Huh. Yeah. Maybe he's got like a bunch of them though. I guess that wouldn't help though. Maybe he's got like one of those guns where it's like 3 guns strapped together, so he's shooting 3 25s at you.
A full auto 25.
Well, see, yeah. Perry Farrell's not a very moral person either. He's got that song about stealing and how great it is.
I know, and the song Packin' 25 is about how great it would be to shoot someone in the face for looking at him funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's
And he's a really
square.
shitty DJ, man. Have you heard his DJing? Like
does he DJ?
He DJs as DJ Peretz. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
DJ
basically,
Peretz. Why is it shitty?
I don't know. He's just not good at it, and it's like, he just decided when his band broke up, like, well, I could be a DJ, and like people let him do it in clubs because he was Perry Farrell, and he just, from what I've heard, just wasn't good at it.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. DJing is a skill, contrary to some things that you say, Michael.
I say it's just the kid who plays the records at the party, like it was when I was a little kid.
It can be so much. It's like anything else. It can be that. It can be so much more.
In this what was that statist cop show I was watching? Oh, Dragnet. There was one where they busted a hippie acid house where everyone was tripping on acid, and there was a guy kind of DJing. They went in and everyone's kind of like staring at the walls, like 5 or 6 kids, and there's one guy sitting on the floor with like a reel-to-reel tape recorder playing jazz and then like rewinding it to a certain spot and starting it over. I guess he was the DJ.
Rewind selector. Nice. Yeah. DJing for people who are doing trippy drugs is a lot of fun. I DJ'd at a party once. Well, actually, it was supposed to be a live show, and then I was going to DJ. But everybody was too drugged out to really feel the rapping, so I just switched and started playing psychedelic music and doing cool things with the EQ and the effects. And girls started taking their tops off. It was at like one of those parties out in the wilderness where everybody's looking at a meteor shower. It was a blast.
Yeah. I'm going to violate your intellectual property rights.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! On your knees! On your knees, you dirty hippies! On your knees! On your knees, you dirty hippies! On your knees! On your knees, you dirty hippies! On your knees! On your knees, you dirty hippies! On your knees! On your knees, you dirty hippies! On your knees!
There's a precursor of a preview of a work in progress by Neema and me.
Yes, definitely still a work in progress. Needs some bass and clean up some of the instruments on the hook, and obviously needs rapping and
when stuff. I get my gun training DVD out the door next week, I'll sit down and give you some bass and guitar for this you to, and then you won't hold me out the balcony if the hotel threatened to drop me.
Suge Knight style. Yeah. Well, see, then it'll give me 2 features for my album. Not only will I have featuring Dan Banning, but I'll also have featuring Michael Dean.
being dropped out the window. Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna sick your attorneys Smith and Wesson on me.
Exactly.
Worms.
This is the central scrutinizer.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. What other effects we got? Okay, there's that. There's this. There's this. There's this. Let's see.
You have ADD today, man.
I do, man. I do. So I'm supposed to be working on something else right now, and I'm not really working on it at the moment. So what do we got here? Let's see. Let's try this. Let's try the flange one. Yeah. Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Flange only really sounds cool if it's a sustained sound.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like sing a note for a long time and then flange it.
Okay. Okay. I dig it. I'm playing delays. Yeah. Delays. Yeah.
Is that a delay or is it a tape echo?
It's a delay. Different delays.
Do a tape echo.
I don't know if we have a tape echo.
That's delay plus.
They taught us in school today that the government is our federal family.
They lied.
Yeah.
They lie to you all the time. You should not listen to them.
So. You're right. I think the music's coming in here. I was going to play some more Clash, but it won't mix.
You should open up your desk and take a dump in it.
School news you can use.
Yes.
Do desks even open anymore? Aren't they just a place to hold the iPad they steal money to give you?
I don't know, man. It depends on how old your school is. I remember in college once I peed inside of a desk in the study room.
IP?
Have you heard about Floating Freedom's big
I hope that got
dance party?